Arise and shine. Anyway, apologies first of all. That's how we are starting the show this morning. You're welcome to Prime Insight. We should have been here a little bit earlier in terms of minutes, but better late than never. Welcome to the program this morning. Lots to talk about because here we call it the battleground for ideas. And once we are up and you see me, blessed on your screens, obviously you know what time it is. It's time to once more look at all of the national issues, dissect them, and also bring in you, our audience at home, and our audience in studio to have your thoughts on these issues while we shape national discourse. That's what we're doing again this morning as we start off by looking at some of the critical and sensitive issues that came up this week. Guess what? Many of us do not know that our doctors and nurses, some of them, were not as responsive until, of course, a new report now emerging from the Ministry of Health is now pointing out why we lost Charles Emisa. That case was just a sad spectacle for the country because this was an individual who was attempting to seek medical help based on emergency because he was carried, we understand, by the national ambulance, except to say that he could not receive treatment on time. So based on that, the Ministry of Health conducted an investigation. And once they did, of course, we're getting to know why some of these things happen. The blame appears to be going to some health workers, but the health workers don't take that as the whole truth, right? They believe that there's more to it. Our health system in its entirety ought to be re-looked at. That's the position of the health workers, including the nurses and some of the doctors who are being named now through the Ghana Medical Association and the Nurses and Midwifery Association. So all of these associations tend to have a problem with the political class because we've heard members of parliament come out to say, well, if you're a doctor or a nurse working in the health system and you don't want to work anymore, just resign. They believe that there's more to it. No need for name and shame. All you have to do is to improve the system according to these health workers. So what exactly happened and what are some of the findings that we're learning from the Charles Emisa case, and how do we improve our health system now based on some of these emerging concerns? All of these issues we'll look at for you this morning. Then we will head right into this whole race to find a successor for the National Democratic Congress's John Dramani Mahama. Well, that's breeding some unhealthy race, according to some elements within the party. But of course, the executive secretary to the president has had cause to write about it entirely, saying that, look, if you don't take care, we may be derailed of our main mandate, which is to govern and to govern well in order to win the next election. So I will bring up that article by Callistus Mahama, who's now writing and sharing some of the concerns with the struggle within the NDC. But, well, whatever the case, I will find out from my guests who will be helping us to understand all of these issues. And you at home, feel free to join us and be a part of the show. My guest this morning, we have Kyei Innocent, who is a youth activist, joining us this morning. Last week, I think we missed you a bit. Yeah. But he's here, active and in green, which means that he's very energetic this morning. So good to have you on the program. Solomon also is here. He is the director of communications for the UP Plus. Solo, good morning. There are appointments coming. MPP is...
They have done what?
MPP has done a number of appointments, committees. I didn't see your name on any of the committees.
But I'm a UP member, and it's rather unfortunate that they have set up young ones to go and fill.
Oh, really? You don't want to take any of the appointments? Anyway, I thought Solo would have been on there.
Where is Ejekum? He's supposed to be part of
he's here.
spokesperson for what?
One of the committees. I'll ask him shortly.
My goodness.
Let's do this. Since he speaks on health, what I want us to do is to watch all of these videos, the excerpts of what transpired in the Charles Emisa findings, and then we'll get back in studio and we'll tell you who else is here.
3-0. 118 minutes later, patient was pronounced dead. And the pathology confirms a slow death from medical neglect and was not from the instant trauma. What it means is that if at any of these facilities there had been medical intervention, Charles Emisa could have survived. Charles Emisa died of exsanguination, excessive loss of blood. due to an upper right arm bone and soft tissue injury, causing damage to the axillary and brachial arteries and veins following a road traffic accident. Death of Charles Emisa could have been avoided by medical intervention at the police hospital, the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, or Kolebu Teaching Hospital. If the ambulance crew had applied compression on the laceration and packed the deep wound prior to transportation, they could have stopped the bleeding. Dr. Anne-Marie Kudowo failed to exercise ethical and professional judgment prudently by not attending to Charles Emisa in a life-threatening condition at Police Hospital, leading to his death later from severe loss of blood. And she was untruthful to the committee. Dr. Anne-Marie Kudowo should be referred to the management of Police Hospital and to the Medical and Dental Council for disciplinary action against her for breach of professional duty to Charles Emisa and for being untruthful to the committee. Dr. Nina Naomi Ejram Adotevi should be referred to the management of Greater Accra Regional Hospital as their employer. They have oversight, administrative and management disciplinary processes that they must go through, and the Medical and Dental Council for disciplinary action against her for breach of professional duty to Charles Emisa. Conclusions. Ensure compulsory triaging of all patients brought to all healthcare facilities in a state of emergency across the country. And by all healthcare facilities, we're looking at both public and private healthcare facilities. Establish a national emergency care fund to enable emergency care for the first 24 hours in public and private healthcare facilities across the country.
Forms of sanctions that are meted to the practitioner. 1, to reprimand the practitioner. 2, to suspend the practitioner over a period so determined by the Medical and Dental Council, or the disciplinary committee will cause the practitioner's name to be struck off the register of registered practitioners. Why do we just pick up only the practitioners who were on duty at that time? Should the institution just be put aside?
As Professor stated, the most important aspect is for us to be able to avoid the avoidable deaths. And there are regulators that disciplinary actions be taken against them.
Even granted, as our colleagues, even granted that they are guilty, as we speak today, there are people negotiating with National Ambulance Service to buy fuel before the ambulance moves. Last week, I was in a Hafophidium where I work. We have had to talk and beg ambulances to pay for fuel before they move. All these issues will persist if we do not stop scapegoating. So even if our colleagues are found guilty at the end of the process, if we continue to scapegoat, people will continue to have to pay for ambulance if we do not put the coordination systems in place.
Okay, excerpts of what happened throughout the week. Joining us this morning, Dr. Ezekiel Ejekumo Obeng is a member of the NPP's National Communications team. He's also been recently appointed as the head of the Health Committee. No, not head of the Health Committee.
Let's issue the
it's spokesperson for the Health Committee.
Yeah.
There are so many committees now in the NPP, is it?
It's good morning, first of all.
Yeah.
And good morning to our brothers in studio and everyone joining us this morning. So it's part of the restructuring process and making sure that the party taps into all available resources, including human resources. Okay. So gone were the days where individuals alone will be taxed to work. This time around, it's an expanded ideology where sector by sector, we do not just want to come out and speak for speaking sake. The idea the flag bearer and the party leadership had was to make sure that every team works, speak to the people, gather ideas, evidence-based, data-based policies, and even responses to issue has to be data and evidence-driven. So it's a national call on each and every one. Yeah. At least I'm humbled to have been recognized to serve. And
as spokesperson
for the health
committee. Yeah. So which means that, all these issues we are looking at this morning, you have your take on it. Wanda Madilo, Solo, you are jealous of the post? You want to be a member of the health committee?
I can't imagine my brother will be subjected to such a unfortunate situation.
Why?
Because he has been drafted into a group that is barely going to see to the downward movement of the new party.
At least congratulate him first.
How can I congratulate him when I know that he has been set up for failure? If he has been set up to succeed, I would have congratulated him after all. When they are in power, I'll point out.
So are you jealous? Are you jealous that you're not part of?
I am jealous that he has been set up to fail.
Anyway, Wanda Madilo is...
That is my only problem.
Wanda Madilo is a member of government communications. Thank you that, of course, you're here this morning. And Ezekiel, don't mind the naysayers.
Solo, it's still an appeal
that he should come back.
Home sweet home. Someone say Chibaya or that, and Tisa say
UP is the home.
So kindly come home.
Okay, guys, let's look at the health sector now. Not a good spectacle, but Wanda, probably I should start off with you because government is coming under a lot of heat now from the Ghana Medical Association. The feeling is, why scapegoat these individuals? Because, to be fair, there's more to what's happening now, a lot more that we have heard, beyond the recommendations.
Nobody is scapegoating anybody. And in all fairness, first of all, congratulate you on your appointment.
Thank you.
Even though we now know that they are destined for failure. Let me congratulate you.
Thank you.
I didn't know when the MPP started believing in committees, because when we took over power and there were a couple of committees, they were all over the place. Yeah, no, committee. And you just said that they have a lot now. So they are still learning, don't worry. Opposition is...
But okay, can we allow him to breathe? It's just
it's not him, we're talking about the MPP,
It looks like you all want the appointments. If you want some, just go to the headquarters of the MPP.
No, he is a good...
We'll find something.
He's a good friend. I can only wish him. He's a good friend.
Yeah. Thank you.
On an official note, I want to say that the government has not set out to scapegoat anybody. First of all, our Criminal Offences Act 29, gives a lot of buffer and protection to health professionals in particular. Right. So it's not like the US where, let's say the Michael Jackson case, out of negligence or even a wrong, prescription or whatever, and then somebody went to jail because of that. In Ghana, our health professionals, especially medical doctors, are given a lot of buffer in terms of their medical practice. So it is not the case that anybody wants to do this. Now look at the recommendations that have been made.
Yeah.
Much ado about nothing. Nobody there is going to jail. Nobody is there facing any court. If these are disciplinary administrative measures, what are you afraid of? We all have administrative measures and disciplinary measures, across our various corporate institutions where we work. So when you fall foul of the law, certainly some things will be done. Yeah. I am only happy that they had a very renowned medical doctor in the person of the chair and many of the others in the group to do the investigation. So nobody say, oh, well...
So how do you deal with the concerns of the Ghana Medical Association? Because they are not happy you're putting the names of the medical shelter.
Please, give me a break. These are people who go on TV, radio, mention politicians' name and say all kinds of things and all that. And your name is mentioned, so what? Are they not human beings? Did we not know the people who were involved in the process? Are you saying that the ambulance, when they got to the hospital, didn't know the particular doctor they were dealing with? What is it? Nobody else. This is no confidential matter. In fact, in some jurisdictions of this country, as a medical doctor, when you move around, you have your tag on you, and then everybody knows. So what are you hiding about? Number two, did they do it or they didn't do it? Number three, did they go to the committee to lie to the committee or not? Because that's what actually one of the reasons why their names were put out. And if you don't put out the names, what report is that? I'm going to say A did this, B did this, C did this. Is that going to be a report? Then the same report comes out. These same people gang up and say, why didn't you mention the names? If you knew the report is so conclusive, it cannot be the basis for any judgment. So what do we do? How else are we going to please our health professionals any longer?
How about taking responsibility for?
I'm going to go there. No, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there
because the system is also part of.
System is run by human beings. System are put together by human beings. Same human beings are the beneficiaries. Same human beings are the drivers of the system. So even if we put the best infrastructure in the world in Ghana, and we have professionals who are not willing to go by professional ethics, this is what will happen. Are you saying that machines would have been responsible for what has happened? No machine was mentioned in the process, except to say that in the ambulance they said that the tube was not long enough and recommended that in future events we should have longer ones in the ambulance. But then the paramedics who go on board the ambulance may also be properly qualified. These are systemic issues that we've all known in the past. This is one case that we think that there were lapses on the side.
For your MPs to be telling doctors that if they don't want to work, they should resign. Do you think that
I will not give oxygen to that. What I can tell you for a fact is that in any proper jurisdiction, when you lose the verve or the impetus to serve, you walk out. If you have any professional code of ethics or conduct at all. In any case, we are talking about lives. So if the person doesn't want to work and we are pushing you to go and work, you are killing people, so we should encourage you to go and kill the people. That statement did not mean. I'm coming. That statement.
You say that they are killing people.
We're talking about death. Are you aware we're talking about death right now? Yeah, so I'm dealing with death.
But there's a difference between someone dying and you saying something.
I am dealing with death. In the hospitals, the worst that can happen is death. They are dealing with human life. So what else? Why are we afraid to mention the word death? The reason we need to train our health professionals is because they must prevent death, save lives. The opposite of that is death. Right?
But they are not the ones killing.
I didn't say I didn't say they are killing.
But you mentioned killing, that's why.
I said people are dying.
Okay. But you mentioned killing too.
I said to go and kill.
Yeah.
You say you don't want to work.
Who is killing who? That's my challenge.
Who is killing who?
There's a difference between someone dying and you say someone is killed.
You see, you may use semantics to try to get around this matter. Whether death, kill, murder, whatever it is, the end result is death.
My point to you is that we don't murder in the hospital, we don't kill people intentionally.
I didn't say
it could happen out of negligence.
Yes. Oh, you now agree?
But I'm telling you that you're assuming that the doctors were intentional.
If I drove you, if you and I drive, okay, God forbid you and I, two people drove, and there's an accident, and one is the driver, the other wasn't the driver. He didn't participate in the process, but both of them died. Who killed who? What would you say?
That's up for legal interpretation. So just conclude for me.
So let's make progress. So I'm saying that yes, we want cool heads to prevail. Yes, we want our doctors to be professional. Yes, we want to save the health sector from collapse. Yes, there are a lot of things to do in the health sector, and a lot is going on. What I don't want is professionals who would hoodwink government and hold them to ransom to the extent that we can't even discuss when there are issues in that sector any longer.
How about the recommendations? Is government committed to seeing through all of these?
It's one of the reasons why the committee was put together. We want to see, because this bed syndrome, lack of bed syndrome, is something that we've been hearing, many years now. And the idea is to ensure that our beds are, in the numbers. Right. One of them is to do the health infrastructure, the hospital itself, new ones, and get the beds. The other one is to get the existing ones to have extra beds. Very soon we'll be told that there are no spaces for beds in the hospitals, and therefore you will need to expand in other sectors. The president made a very revealing statement 2 weeks ago. He said that no human being or no life should be lost in any hospital owing to lack of beds. Even if the person has to be treated on the stretcher, let's treat the person and save life. Even if the person has to be treated on the floor, that should be the focus of health professionals. Not telling me about there's no bed. When you were studying as a medical doctor at the time, did they tell you that bed is the only reason why you can save a life? Why we give people, what's the name, resuscitation and all that? Do we give them on beds? When you found somebody who is drowning, and you have to bring the person out, you finally have to give them CPR. Do you do it on bed? I do agree that the bed will play a central role, but it's trying to say...
right now listening to what you're saying.
I don't have a problem. It's straight knowledge. First of all, me myself, I'm a field medical doctor, if you care to know. Yeah. I'm a science student. I wanted to do medicine. I was in Lagos for 3 years, doing medical biological science, and then I didn't get it. They didn't get a scholarship. They asked us to do the PPP. I didn't have money.
Else by now you have been a doctor.
Yeah, I would have been a doctor. So I do have passion in that environment very well. But for you to tell me that because there's no bed, that's why a life is lost. A destiny is gone. A father figure is gone. A mother is gone. I mean, that can't be. We need to have a situation where we have passion for what you are doing. Even if you find me treating somebody on the floor, it is my joy and my happiness that I've saved the life, not where the person was treated. So you use where the person is to be treated to kill somebody or to make somebody die.
Where lies the responsibility? You're not talking about...
I've told you the government is responsible. Government is willing and ready to stop the hospitals. Don't forget, all this bed thing that we're talking about. It's not as if there are no beds. There are beds, but beds also, they go extinct, or what do I say? They get spoiled, and they have to be replaced. It's a continuous thing. No hospital was built that go and sleep on the floor. All of them does have beds, and we do have that systematic replacement. Okay. So it's not the case that government is...
So you've also heard that if you're tired, go sit at home?
Well, that one, if you are tired, you have to go and sit at the house, because that means you cannot work. But the problem is beyond what we are discussing. As a matter of fact, we all know that a robust or a resilient health system is reflected in how well we are able to manage our emergencies. If your emergency healthcare is not resilient, then you don't have a healthcare. It's as simple as that. Because that is where your health system is tested. And I have witnessed it. I think I've said it on this platform, how my sister died. It was so, I saw death. I saw her die at Kolebu. And when you go to the emergency unit of Kolebu, it's chaotic. It's as if it's market.
She wasn't attended to?
Oh, she was attended to, but the point is that I wouldn't call it proper care. No. I mean, but I can understand the frustrations there, because at the emergency unit, everyone is struggling for life.
Right.
And the available facilities is just not enough. You understand? And so, and the way they even receive the patients, sometimes, so when you go there, the family members actually are fighting with the doctors, because they see them as not being responsive. They look at the situation of their loved one, and the response rate, it does not correspond. So I saw it at first hand. Look, at the point I had to join ambulance, a big hospital like Kolebu. You understand?
What happened? What happened? Are you accusing maybe or blaming the doctors for it?
I am blaming the system. The system has fallen. The system is collapsed. There is no system. And if you are blaming the entire system, there cannot only be the practitioners, because there is a level to which the doctors can also perform. Let's face it. If you don't have the right facilities to work with, I mean, you can work up to a point. Look, there was a point that my sister needed a certain X-ray and stuff. A big hospital like Kolebu, they don't have it.
Oh, so what are you saying?
We have to come to Osu. These are all connections. They can buy it. But because they want to create opportunity for themselves, you have to go to Osu. Somebody who is struggling, emergency unit. By the time you go to Osu and come back, what will happen? And right there, by the time we went to Osu and back, I saw her gone. You understand? So it is one of such challenges. Again, the whole health system, we even playing politics with it. That's that if we don't take care. You see these people sitting here and ourselves. If you are sick and you have to be admitted to the ICU, they will tell you there's no bed.
Why now you have to...
Let a politician, let someone that they consider to be somebody in society have an issue, there will be a bed. Why do we do this to ourselves? Because I'm using my sister as an example. In her case, I was told by the medical doctor that there is no bed. And then they know that, you know, I'm into politics, I have to go. But I found it unconscionable. Because you must be with the masses. That's why it's your sister. You are going to call a so-called big man for a place to be created for her. What about the ordinary person? You understand? Recently when they arrested Kofi Juma, haven't they got in the bed at ICU? But I'm telling you that my sister, they told me plainly that there wasn't bed at ICU.
Maybe the time, you know, it could vary.
Forget about them. They are doing politics. They are not being serious over there. So
the Ghana Medical Association has an issue with how we are even naming the doctors.
Oh, but that one, there's no problem. They have when politicians go and do anything wrong, don't they mention their names? If the person feels that he or she is not wrong, she has the right of rebuttal. She can even sue the committee members for wrongful citation. So what is wrong with that? If you haven't committed, you haven't committed. But if you have done it, then you must be taken on. But I'm saying that it's not enough, because in the case of Rich, the explanation that I had from Wanda Uto, from one of the medical practitioners at Dotevi or so, was that she was the only person at post when Charles Emisa was sent there. Now, when they took Charles Emisa there, according to one that claims I've spoken to the family, when they took Charles Emisa there, she was already attending to a patient with some blood and stuff. You even know your work very well. So she couldn't abandon the person that she was attending to attend to this emergency. Now, the question is, was it the case that the whole Rich, at that material time, she was the only person that was supposed to be at work? Because we have been told that there are a lot of medical doctors sitting at home, not getting job. And which medical doctor works so doesn't want to work at Rich? But if there was somebody who was supposed to be at work plus at the TV, why was the person not at post? These are matters that we have to go in. Again, you see, there is a group of medical practitioners called physician assistants. A lot of them, more than 5,000, have completed schools and they are home not getting jobs. The ambulance situation, what were you told? That the people on board had no skill to manage the situation. Wouldn't it be proper or prudent for us to begin to draft these physician assistants into these pre-hospital care or emergency situations so that they will be on board in some of these ambulances rather than engaging people who do not have the technical know-how? You see, it's Charles Emisa's one that we are talking about. Daily, more than thousands of people die in such circumstances, and no one is taking on.
All right.
You get my point. So, for me, it's a report. I don't see how it's a disciplinary report. They have asked for disciplinary measures. I think as a country, your health is your worth. If we are not going to treat our health as a serious business, any country that you go that you see more people going to prayer camps, it means your health system has failed.
Okay, Ivan and Ezekiel, you have particular experiences because of what you do in the health sector. Whose side are you on now? It's hard to ask you this.
The two of them today, they smell pepper here.
So always here and watching how you deal with your own.
Oh, don't worry, I'll handle it. I think with this Charles Emisa case, I think it started with the wrong labeling by the media when they characterized the whole thing as he died because there was no bed. I think
so. Yes. Where the resort, you are the ones you are attacking.
No, I think that was a wrong characterization because I have worked in emergency situations, and if you look at the situation as being described, there's somebody who is involved in RTA, that is road traffic accident, and there was a clear indication that the person was bleeding profusely. As a medical person, the first call is to arrest the bleeding. So if this person is transported to a facility and that is not done, you cannot use any reason to justify why care was not attended to that particular person.
So why the referral?
I'm saying that. So if you look at the account that has been given thus far, he was first referred to police hospital, and according to the report, some interventions. I don't know whether
that's why I'm asking. Why the referral?
So let me give my baseline argument. So some care was rendered according to the report that was read, but he was then referred because according to them,
you have doubts that. Oh, I mean,
no. I'm saying that something should have been done to ensure that the bleeding stopped.
The argument is nothing was done at the first instance.
And that's my problem. So it has nothing to do with the hospital not having bed. Because in an emergency situation where somebody is bleeding, you do not need to put a person in a comfort bed to attend to that particular person. That is the point I'm making.
Okay.
You understand? So if
you agree, first of all?
I agree. So first of all, if nothing at all, that bleeding should have been stopped. But somebody who is bleeding, you cannot ask a person to go to another facility, it is never done anywhere, and no bed can never be used as a point to rationalize it, because everybody knows once the person is bleeding, the likelihood is that the person will die. So as a first point of call, you arrest the bleeding. But to ask them to go to the next hospital while the person continue to bleed in the ambulance, then that is a red flag. And I think if you look at the report that Dr. Akosa, that is the name, right?
Yeah.
That he read, he made a particular point, and the postmortem indicated that the gentleman died out of excessive hemorrhaging. He bled and died as a result of that. It means that there was a clear case of criminal negligence. I don't want to see these things.
But that fact will be indicated, well, simply because he was bleeding before he came to the facility.
So that is why you are a hospital. Your job is to ensure you stop the bleeding. You stabilize the person. For instance, let's say this is a hospital facility. Somebody walks in, the person is having an asthmatic attack. Let's say the tables are full. You cannot ask the person with an asthmatic crisis to go because the hospital is full. All that you need to do is to stabilize the person and then do a transfer.
But if the hospital is full, what else could you?
No. I have worked at an emergency. Listen, this Kufuor bus. I think that there was an accident along the Techiman Road. About 20 or 30 people, all of them were brought in. There was no bed. We had to treat some of them on the floor. When they stabilize, then you trust them out.
About what you're saying?
No. I'm saying that I am talking about the emergency situation.
Okay, not any.
Because the emergency here maybe is people just take it for granted. An emergency is a point where if nothing is done, the person is going to die. Oh, and the hospital will do a lot of referrals. People come and you realize, oh, there is no bed. There are those genuine instances, especially a walk-in patient who is a bit stable and there is no bed. You can gently tell the person, oh, we are referring you to. But at a point where somebody walks into your facility with asthmatic crisis, you know the person is dying, and you ask the person to go where? And in this case, it's bleeding. I don't know what the ambulance people did, but maybe they could have done something. But because there might have been a multiple cuts on the body, the bleeding will be profuse, which will be impossible for them to stop. It means that the facility, the first point of call. So people were blaming Kolebu. No, I think that the first point of call should have been the point where this particular thing should have been arrested. The bleeding.
Ivan, are you picking and choosing?
No.
I
am saying. You see, what happened? What happened? Just like Solo Cell.
Yeah,
it's a symptom of a healthcare system that is a bit. I don't want.
So you feel the system is not too?
Oh no! I think you see the healthcare infrastructure deficit is quite beaming, and it's something that none of us here can just underplay or whatever overlook it. It is quite clear. But I'm saying that in the instances as has been described thus far, we cannot just use no bed syndrome to rationalize what happened, because if nothing at all, they could have treated or they could have attended to the person, even in the ambulance. Just to me, my point was that because the person died out of bleeding, they should have done something. And then the second referral point went to another hospital. What was their reason? They didn't have bed, and that person has to be trans out. At the point, the person was still bleeding. And according to report, people who were in the ambulance was full of blood. Yes, because as they were just running around, the guy was bleeding, and at some point he died as a result of that. You see, some of these things, you might not personally want to bundle all health professionals and then demonize them, because I can tell you, I have a lot of friends who are sacrificing themselves day and night working to ensure the system works, you understand? But instances like this also kills the public confidence and trust in the healthcare system, you understand? And that is very key, because, you see...
So, Ivan, do you first of all acknowledge the reality that there's still no bed syndrome in the system?
I have said it. That is a reality that everybody is seeking to ensure that we improve upon. But I'm saying the peculiarity of the situation we have at hand didn't have anything to do with no bed syndrome, because it was an emergency situation, life and death matter.
Okay. So you mean that even if the no bed...
Exactly. Something should have been done, because in the hospital instance, we do what you call improvisation. You have to improvise just to ensure you save your patient. You understand? So I think that is what they should have done.
Why are we leaving out government? Because I've been asking Wanda about it.
You see, that's why I'm saying that our healthcare facility, the infrastructure deficits are quite overwhelming. and we need to build on. That is why the last time I said, if you look at this useless pit that we have at the Cathedral site,
yeah, the bridge one,
yes, should be converted to maybe the biggest trauma center in Accra, or maybe Children's Hospital. You understand? We need to do a lot to improve our health facilities. You understand? That the deficit is quite obvious. You understand? That is why I'm told government is also committed to finishing some of these Agenda 111 just to ensure that all these things come to stream. You understand? So that is a debate we can have on the sidelines. But we are talking about a situation where somebody was turned out of the hospital because of a particular situation. And you see, similar instance popped up somewhere in Kaswa when we were told that somebody was denied cesarean section because there was no bed at the recovery. I said I don't want to believe that, because if there is a clear medical indication that somebody needs a cesarean section, no doctor in an emergency situation, my word, underline it, has always been an emergency. When there is an urgent emergency need for cesarean section, no normal doctor will tell you, oh, there is no bed at the recovery, so we are not going to do. No. So, but you hear the narrative going around, all these things, you know, give some sort of a bad characterization to our health.
So should we condemn the health officials now?
Oh, definitely those who are involved. You understand? Because just like the Conrad Murray's case in the United States, when he administered an anesthetic drug to Michael Jackson, Propofol, in a non-hospital environment, he was convicted. I think we must begin to move from this clear medical negligence to a realm of section, where Section 51 of the Criminal Offences Act becomes applicable. Because in that instance, if there is a clear, reckless disregard for human life, you can be charged for manslaughter. You understand? I think we need to, because you see, we have overlooked some of these things. We were here when a human being was sent to a hospital, and according to the hospital authorities, there were no family member, and the person was not paying the bills. They loaded a human being in an ambulance and discharged the woman in the bush. The woman lied there and died. What is the current state of that particular and the media, you are not following. You understand?
Okay.
I think
this is not our problem.
We must also begin to push.
You have blamed us twice already.
We must begin to push some of these things. You see, and some of these, you see, people are actively talking about some of these things. In all these instances, it might not be as we might want to put it, but because of the underlying factors and situation that has happened, people will pour their frustration. And one thing is that when you are at the hospital and you fail to do one thing, the person you are attending to may have thousands of voices because they have family members. They will go and amplify, but you at the hospital may not even have that particular chance. So I think we must not crucify the system. We must work hand in hand just to ensure that we put up a system for our own sake. Because blessed, you go to a hospital when you are in your lowest element. At that point, you might not even have the chance to see who is attending to you. So we cannot, bastardize everybody. But we need to ensure that those who are not doing what they are supposed to do, if it is proper to penalize them, we penalize them, we sanitize the system, and we move on. But we cannot cover some of these things. But for instance, the reaction from the Ghana Medical Association that I disagree with them. If something is actually wrong and somebody is culpable, that person must be named. We can go to a point of stripping people of their professional whatever. You understand? We need to, because somebody died. And the saddest part is that the gentleman who died in this instance, I'm told, the father is somebody who has been supplying hospital with beds for free. Yes, this is a guy whose father has been supporting our hospitals. Supplying yes, and other staff.
Even the company where he works, Promasido.
Exactly. Some goodwill. Yeah, and the son died as a result of this. It's painful, you understand. But you see, let's just find a way of addressing some of these things, because I think our health system is gaining a lot of notoriety for some of these instances. Public confidence is quite key. We need to ensure that we address it.
Doc, are you joining your colleagues? Because the Ghana Medical Association says, well, the approach, well, there might be some genuine issues, but don't name the individuals.
Let's start off by once again sending our condolences to the bereaved family. And the fact that Charles Emis's sister is also a medical officer as well. So it's not just, excuse my language, anyone distant from us. It's a brother of one of us as well. There are a few school of thoughts, and Solo has also shared his unfortunate experience. Sorry to Solo on his sister as well. We need to look at the situations very well. Recently there was a video of some patients being nursed on the floor of the Kolebu emergency, recently. And the leadership of Kolebu had to come out to even try and suggest that there's a possibility those videos are AI generated. Why would the hospital authority try to let us think in the realm of those videos being AI generated? Blessed. Why? It clearly shows that they do not see nursing patients on the floor as the right thing to do, isn't it? It clearly shows that they do not see nursing patients on the floor as optimal. But sitting back and putting myself in the shoes of my colleagues at the emergency, there was an unfortunate incident of Charles Emisa, and every arm was targeted at the health workers for neglecting Charles Emisa during his time of need. So if that case was still pending and patients come at the same emergency and they do not have the resources in terms of space to take care of the patient, they just have to keep quiet and conform and nurse the patients or treat them on the floor. But when they took the steps to nurse and take care of the patients on the floor, then it became another issue altogether. To the extent that the hospital authorities wanted to find a PR means around it to claim that there's a possibility of the videos being AI generated.
They said it was AI.
They said it.
Was it?
But clearly, was it an AI generated video?
I'm not in a position to verify the video.
You see?
But you reported it.
So what then happens?
I'm not in a position to verify the
What then happens to the doctor and nurse on duty if a patient comes and there is no space? You see? We are all going gun blazing, attacking the health workers. You neglected Charles. You neglected Charles. You neglected Charles. It's a very dicey situation and a very sensitive one. So I would not even seek to even defend my colleagues. But when the same situation played out in a different way, and the doctors and nurses said, oh, finally, let's nurse the patient on the floor, even though we don't have beds, the same system came and started attacking the institution and why are patients on the floor. If they had turned away the patients to go and look for facilities that could accommodate them, and something happened on the way, we would have come for the heads of the doctors and nurses again.
Can I give you information?
All right.
In large situations where we talked about people being treated on the floor, it's because we are told that there were beds and some people want to sell it. One. It's because we are told.
Oh, that you mean the health official?
They sell bed.
They do connect.
But let's not also mean the same.
Let's not connect with
I am a living witness. No, let me. But there is a living witness in the studio here, and you are saying, where was your?
They may have a special ward. Don't sell bed.
Exactly, I'm coming there.
I see it's always full. You are let the police
Okay.
I said,
he is made.
I said that.
No, wait, this will guide you.
I was on the path. But where you are taking the
it will guide you.
But in that situation,
I was on the path.
You just said there are special beds.
Professionally, what is your standard operating procedure that in such situations when a patient comes, does your procedure allow you to treat them on the floor or it does not?
We use a word here called improvisation. And trust me, our last resort when it comes to the sector is the health workers. Trust me. The number of times I've had to close my shift, but had to stay to make sure I cover and help my colleagues after doing a night shift, and would have to go home and rest. But whoever takes after me, all of a sudden, 3-4 emergencies come. And some need to be seen on the labor ward, some need to be seen at the gynae ward, and some need to go to theater.
So you're outnumbered.
You have to stay and work. And in instances where we even operate a patient, and the patient is in a critical condition, so we require an ICU or an HDU for the patient, but your facility doesn't have an HDU or an ICU, you would have to sit by the patient on the theater bed and wait till you get a referral for the patient to be taken to an HDU. And I can tell you that that's why I find the statement by the NDC MP very unfortunate.
That if you can work, you should.
Because there's something called compliance and something called commitment if you learn leadership. Compliance is that Blessed needs to host the morning show on Saturdays. So Blessed comes in, reports to work on time, just come, sit somewhere, it's time to go on air. Blessed comes to sit, moderates the show, he's done, gone. Per the reason why Blessed was employed, he has achieved it and he has executed his task with no fault. That is compliance. Commitment comes in when Blessed is done with his shift, but they need someone in the control room and they are saddled with work, but Blessed would have to stay, even though it is beyond his scope of work to help out. There is someone at reception who is not reporting, but Blessed can take it upon himself to go and start the reception and help out. It's not within the scope of work. But when commitment comes in, you go beyond your borders to help and make sure that systems and the processes work. That is on the daily basis what these workers are going through. It's unfortunate that our sector, like I always say, is not built on PR. So even in school, you are taught that when you want to start your private facility, there is a dimension beyond which you do not have to even craft your signpost. So when I see giant billboards advertising health facilities these days, I'm like, we sort of have changed. Because you do not have to even advertise your facilities that much. It shows how reserved and conservative the sector is. But if we are to go and experience the difficulties and improvisation the doctors go through day in, day out to make sure that lives are saved. I was in theater performing surgery. I was told someone had come with preterm labor and the person delivered. After surgery, I went to check on the mother and the baby, and the baby weighed just about 0.8 kg. But there was some heart activity, and baby was breathing, except the lungs had not matured or developed well. So breathing spontaneously was even difficult. And when you are exerting energy to breathe as little as you are further depleting your energy store. Once again, your livers are not even developed well to even process energy for you. Your suckling and your ability to feed is not also developed well, so you can't even feed. So the extra pressure of exerting energy to breathe becomes extra difficult. But I told the NICU nurses and the midwives that let's give this baby a chance. And I can recall the pain and difficulties we all went through. Compliance would have made us do our work, document, and walk away. But commitment ensure that
when you go beyond
every team member, from the person who was in theater at the time, that was me, to the midwives on the ward who received the mother and saw her through the labor, because at that point they couldn't have arrested labor, even though the baby was very premature.
But Solo's question has not been answered.
To an ICU.
If we answer Solo's question,
the SOPs, if the point I'm trying to drive at is that if we are to go by the letter and say that Obiba yese, we are going to rather end up with
but you have a situation where this guy has been.
So what about the emergency?
Because one, for example, one of the problems that doctors find themselves in easily is documentation. Oh, my man is saying, I did this, I did that. But during this committee work, they would rather go and extract records and go through records to show whether or not you gave whatever you claim you did or gave. And the only thing that will save you is to write. So we are admonished every day that make sure you document. But if the doctors per the SOP are to leave patients to go and document, which is their right, trust me, there will be chaos.
Okay. I see what
no, but
there will be chaos.
You know what?
I'm saying that.
Let me come to.
Let me finish.
So we need to juxtapose what you are saying to what actually took place on the day. You have read the report.
Yes.
You have seen the responses from the medical doctors in that situation.
But so you see, that's why I'm even saying that your fundamental question has not been answered.
No, I'm not.
The point about even coming to, approaching a doctor at the point of emergency.
I can understand him because you see where he is to.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay. Anyway,
to end. If we treat this situation as an isolated medical negligence case and throw the doctors and nurses under the bus, we end up solving nothing. If people have done wrong, let's call them out and let's make sure that due process is followed.
What's your expectation from government, by the way?
However, the problem, whenever you are confronted with one, calls for what you call systemic review of the sector.
Right.
Continuous review and continuous review to strengthen loopholes, because what
there are recommendations, and that's
what we have done or what is out there that we are discussing today is that go and punish the doctors. We can even scrap them off the register and bring new people. If the germane issues
the fundamentals
are not tackled, we will revisit similar issues in the next.
I was going to ask you about the recommendations, particularly on government policy.
We would have to do more. We have to go beyond the facilities we have. Population is growing, and our population, if you read the population pyramid, we say our Ghana's population has a broad base and a narrow apex. What it tells you is that the population is young. And when the population is young, people are now going to marry, people are now going to give birth. So attention and focus should be on education and health in particular. Right. For aged communities like we have it in Germany and Japan and somewhere Switzerland, the focus shift to geriatric care because most of the population is aged. Ours calls for a robust investment in the health sector. And I was trying so much not to do politics with this situation,
of course,
but we would have to turn back and look at the Agenda 111 facilities, because the mode of those facilities is to even function beyond the scope of a district facility. Right. If the Accra facilities had been completed and Rich could not accommodate our brother, Kulibu could not accommodate our brother, Police Hospital, I've worked there before,
those hospitals
could not accommodate our brother, we could have turned to these facilities which have better equipment compared to the standard district facilities. And something could have been done at least in the interim.
It's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate that President Akufo-Addo promised to complete the facilities in 18 months.
No, but President Akufo-Addo didn't have the intention of completing.
No, he said. The promise was.
He said because you see, economically, economic-wise, we could have done 10.
Yeah.
Fully completed them and commissioned for it to work.
Not even a single.
Not even a single one.
Agenda 111.
Which one is working? Which one is working? Which one is working?
That's not true.
Which one is working?
At the time you were leaving office.
That's why I'm saying that I don't want to do politics.
No, nobody is doing politics.
Right. If you go into the realms of politics, Wonder's health minister, in the first quarter, upon assuming function as the health minister, went to Equiapim to commission one of the Agenda 111 facilities. Clearly,
I'm saying at the time you're leaving office,
we commissioned 3 of the facilities.
And it's working.
And I'm saying that if we go into the realms of politics, then we will not those that we
no, but he must help us with the names of
That
is not working.
The point I'm making is that
that is not working.
Before leaving office,
we couldn't complete a single hospital. You see, when you speak this way, right? When you relax. No. You can't make such a sweeping comment. When you speak this way, it makes it difficult, and we have to come in strongly to rebut. If it's coming from Wonder, I would say that Wanda is doing politics. But it is coming from a moderator who is supposed to at least correct us when we go wrong. Then there's everything wrong with it.
But I reported.
I'm telling you that
No, he reported.
3 of the facilities were commissioned.
No, I mean,
are you telling me that?
But he reported.
No, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
I'm saying that.
You are saying government.
Are you saying that those facilities
Yeah.
were commissioned when they were not completed?
In fact, facts after
And-
expose the situation on the
And
ground.
I'm
beyond
saying-
that,
Very good.
you launched a government tracker just a few months to leaving office.
No problem.
We tracked. Hold on. I'm sure because I reported.
Yes,
Very
we
good.
tracked your own database. We entered your own database. There was not a single facility that was operational
Absolutely.
at the time you were living
No,
office.
but that is a common knowledge.
I'm just stating the
Same way.
I'm not
I'm saying that.
sweeping statements.
I'm saying that during March, April,
First quarter, yeah.
we had the Equiapim facility.
That was after you left.
That's what.
So are you saying that
That's the fact. I'm telling you the facts.
Oh.
Can I?
You're not even.
But
If
you commissioned the Sewa hospital.
If you don't, I'm saying that
The Sewa
is the
hospital
Equiapim
commission.
facility functioning. The Equiapim facility functioning.
I'm not too sure about
So
that.
who completed that facility?
Yeah, but I'm saying.
Who completed it?
Why are you asking me about who completed
Exactly.
it? You gave me
there
the
was
set of
no
facts.
in the first budget that was ready.
Yeah.
In fact, around the time
Yes.
that the facility was even commissioned,
Yes.
we had not even accepted the budget that your first budget that was ready.
No, but we're using.
But you are using
Okay,
No, the previous budget. The previous.
that's the standard
Relax. The previous budget we were using, the one that was read in November, was just to make sure that certain state institutions function,
No.
including
So,
payment
the
of
facts
salaries.
still
No.
If the MPP did not make allocation to complete any facility, there was no way that Equiapim facility could have been commissioned in the first quarter.
I'm talking about Agenda 111. Agenda 111.
For Agenda 111, we commissioned 3 of them. These people came the first quarter. They came to commission one which they could not
Ivan, you
have
wanted
completed
to say something
if the previous administration did not complete.
just a brief one, so I bring it. Okay, yeah, Wanda. So
No, I mean, let's set the record straight.
Yeah.
At the time the MPP was leaving power,
yes,
no Agenda 11 project
was operational. Right. Okay.
Agreed.
But that
We do agree that many of them were at various stages of completion. In fact, only 11 have reached a stage where you can put in some money and complete it. They know that.
He's saying that if they had not allocated money, you wouldn't have finished that project.
It's not true. The Agenda 111 is even it's a whole scandal to be investigated.
The Equiapim project.
I'm not even singling out any. I'm saying that per our view, at least.
No, you said we couldn't. And I'm giving you the point that
let him flow
your
so that
minister went to commission one. Are you saying your minister went to commission an uncompleted
Yeah, so he's here.
project?
What is
Is that what you're telling
3
us?
months in the life of a project is very huge.
So he went to commission a project that's not complete.
Let him.
That's the point you are
A
making.
project that you per your own program. Each of the Agenda 1 projects were supposed to finish under 1 year.
Yeah.
12 months. Do you know that?
It was 88 at first, and then
88.
expanded.
Then they expanded to 111 out of politics. Each of them, we know. Gan South, is it Gan South?
Yeah.
The one that the civil society group contracted. They did it under how many months? 6 months.
You mean Senyu Hosi's facility? The one day.
The COVID, during COVID, you know, Senyu Hosi and Co led the group, and they put 6 months. These were private people. Government took how many years? COVID struck in 2020. They started the project, the so-called 88. They talked about it in 2021. 2021, later 2021, then they cut short for all the Agenda 1 projects. 2024, you haven't finished. Come on. Let's set the record straight, at least at that level. I am not saying
were commissioned.
Yeah, I'm not saying the MPP did not do anything.
They were commissioned when
I never said that.
I'm functioning.
I never said that. I mean, we have seen projects that were commissioned and were not ready. One is the Bank of Ghana project.
Yeah.
The Bank of Ghana project was in November before the elections. The president then, President Akufo-Addo, needed somehow, some way to commission that place. People work like dogs in that place just to make sure that it gets to a level for him to complete. But even that, it was just the external. There was a lot of work going on. Even to today, there's some work going on in that place. So I know that projects takes time and it's not going to be an overnight thing. Yes, it can also exceed the timeline. Yes, but the truth has to be said that when they left office, that was. Now, number two, building a hospital is not just the structure. It's not just the construction. even the medical equipment itself is even sometimes more expensive than the structure. How much does an MRI machine cost? If you are looking for 5, you are talking about $1 million and over dollars. You are looking for 5. That would be, we strip the cost of the 11 million, 18 million that we were using to build the structure. So indeed, to say that we have commissioned, we have not commissioned, we have used, no. Until the hospital becomes operational and they have the right facilities to operate, you can't say that you have finished it. But we do agree, and we credit them with that the Agenda 111 project was the MVP project, and they have done a couple of them.
If
what we saw,
schedule.
No, what we saw, they have spent all the money. They have spent all the money.
Oh, wonder. You're making a lot of claims.
Didn't you see the
first one?
Hold on. No. I was very much involved.
No.
See, I am into construction. I was very much involved around Agenda 111. There are a couple of ones I can tell you what has happened to some of them.
What were the source
do you know
of funding for the project?
Which source of
funding?
funding?
Let me finish the money. What was the source of funding?
Did you see the publication? No. Did you see the publication of people who were supposed to refund money?
Yeah.
People who were paid and were supposed to refund money. Did you see the list?
Let's not
the list of names of companies.
Let's not degenerate.
It's about 9.6 million.
Yeah, let's not degenerate.
People were supposed to refund money. They were paid and they couldn't finish the job. It's there. I can show you.
You know what?
Yes.
For the sake of time,
And some have even started paying back, actually.
I think that
if I do that, let me.
It's quite clear that we need expansion in terms of our health infrastructure and those kind of things. And with this Agenda 111 thing, I think if you look at the monetary allocation, like Solo said, we could have completed 10 at a time. But setting emotion 101 hospital at the same time when there is no guaranteed financial source that was going to finance the project was quite problematic. But for politics, some of these things are quite obvious. But back to the hospital, I'm saying that Ajekum revealed a lot of challenges, and I think even the challenges cut deeper than what he said. But the reality of the situation we have at hand here is a critical emergency situation, and for me, I think
must pay attention. So, apologies. Let me go into the audience and get back. There's also that write-up by Kalistus Muhammad that we have to look at. So, your experiences at the health facilities. Is it good? Is it something you like anytime you go to the hospital?
Mr. Bless, particularly on your question, good morning to everyone and then our audience. Particularly in your question, I have decided that when there is a need...
You'll have to speak up a bit for us.
Yes, it's clear now. So I have decided that when I am asked to advise anybody in a circumstance of emergency in terms of health to resort to a medical center, instead of going to a public health facility, I would advise that you move to a private facility. Because in these circumstances...
Well, what if the person doesn't have the money?
No, yes, so you are...
think about it.
Yes, so yes. In the circumstance... Yes, please.
Let me say something. In an emergency situation, you may not even have a choice to determine where you stand.
The mind. If you had... Just for the purpose of an example, if you had, say, 37 closer to you, it's just like a minute away from you. Would you say you
want to... And even some of them have no capacity to handle some of the emergencies.
What do you think about that?
So Mr. Ivan made a point that in circumstances of emergency, you are not in the right state of mind to want to decide on whether to go to private or public. But when you listen to Professor Akosa, he said that there wasn't any system of communication between the Ghana Ambulance Service and the hospital. So when they set off from Circle when the incident occurred, they were rather on an expedition of going to find a place where they could be accommodated. So in that same vein, I would advise, or I would have expected that they would go to a private institution than a public institution, because that is where they could have gotten the care that they needed to get in the particular circumstance. You get it, and for me, it's a very sad story to watch on somebody loses life for 118 minutes profusely bleeding as a result of several cuts on the body. And in fact, let's just assume, I don't agree with the point that this whole problem is a problem of no bed, but let's just assume, just for the purposes of argument, that it is for no bed. I have asked myself that at the first point of contact, which is the police hospital, could the doctor on duty not have attended to the patient on the stretcher in the ambulance? Because the stretcher also serves as a bed. So in my view, the medical practitioner could have attended
Except that you're
to the
not an
person.
expert
Yes.
to say if that's the proper condition.
And
for
so
you
that's
to
why I'm
be
saying
able
that
to
no,
treat
no,
them.
no. It is not. It's not all technical with every matter. We are saying that it is as a result of beds, and I'm saying that I don't agree. But if we were to agree, if you are talking about beds, was there not a bed in the ambulance?
Okay,
so I am saying that they could have attended to the patient in the ambulance and stabilized them.
Okay.
You get it?
All right. No, just go ahead.
Yes. And then I think that it would have been remiss of the Ghana Medical Association not to come into the frantic defense of its members, because I mean they are just hardliners to support their interest. But are they also being fair to the patient when it is clear, by dint of the findings of the report, that the medical practitioner at the first point, the second point, police hospital, Rich Hospital, and then at the Kolebu Hospital, they all turned away the patient when they could have simply stabilized the situation just so that the person could have had life. Are they being fair to the family or to the patient himself? So I get the point that they are experts. They have causes not to have for which reason they didn't do certain things. But I think that they also have a role to play. Yes, they should have responded to this person and stabilized the situation just so that we could save lives and not be dominating.
Right. Some of you have some. Wonder you wanted to come through with something.
I agree with him largely. Just like my brother said, that sometimes in an emergency you are looking at actually the closest. Whether it's a CHIPS compound, or it's a hospital, or it's a private facility, you cannot.
You're just looking for life.
The other thing in the report, which I'm sure he didn't get it very well, is the report talked about the chain of command in terms of who does what, and then it talks about the communication gap. But between the time he was talking about, which is fishing around, he said they were fishing when it is once they had entered police hospital. In fact, that's why the woman's presentation to the committee, they said she cooked lice or whatever of the sort, because it was police hospital that had the best opportunity to resolve this matter. Number two, they would have even been asking what caused the bruises, because no doctor would want to attend to you without any report, either from the police, because they want to be careful it's not a gunshot from a robbery or whatever of the sort. So in that place, it's easier for them to get every instruction to go ahead and process.
Particularly because it's even a police.
So that's where I think the main problem is. From the police hospital, nobody can talk about communication again, because then it has come to the attention of the health facility. There's no ambulance communication again. If there's any referral, it will be from police hospital to the next hospital.
Right. Interesting point there.
Yeah, so I've been following the Ghana medical, their channel. The
Ghana Medical Association.
Yeah, associating their channel. And then one thing I've seen is that when you look into their system, I can say there is a problem with communication technology and then information technology. Whatever they have said is on point when it comes to deficit in facility. But as it is now, it's now the time we should look into embedding information technology and communication technology into the health sector very well, so that even if
our system is too old, is it?
Kind of so traditional in a way, So
the systems are really not old, but they don't communicate.
Because
probably that's why
at the first point of call, like the police hospital. They should have called any of the facilities.
But that's the point you're making, right?
Yeah.
That we should be able to have
yes, because
technology.
Yeah, the communication at the first point should have been made that they will know. Maybe they can take the person straight to Kolebu, straight to Rage, straight to. There should be a bed somewhere. You can't say you have to go here and then people say there's no bed.
So the ambulance was going on.
It's like we are trying a system, or we are like there should be a proper communication technology or information technology. At the end of the day, you'll be able to check even on the system that there is a bed here, so straight to the place. Or maybe there's a private hospital somewhere that maybe this place. So that system should be created so we can save more lives.
I don't think that the Ghana Health Service must have a central point.
Because if this is not done, I learned an aircraft is on the way to come and help with. If this is not done, we can even have the aircraft, but still,
it's not ready.
there will still be a deficit because there's no proper system to check where there is a space for this stuff.
Okay, but just to point out that Ibrahim Ahmed's air ambulance that you're referring to, I don't think it applies in this case.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that.
We have helicopters. We have a couple of helicopters.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. In my opinion, in assessing this matter, the problem is largely and mainly caused by the politicians. It is time for them to stop the pervasive corruption, the financial dissipation and malfeasance, and channel the little resources that we have into building hospitals, buying equipments, and fixing the beds to solve the problem of the health infrastructure deficit, and that's my contribution.
Yeah, I see.
And sometimes, please,
100%.
And please, again, sometimes you go to the hospital and some of these doctors get me where I say some of them, and the nurses, those who are supposed to treat the patients, they are bossing around and then lording themselves over their patients. It's not good at all. This is a matter that we must look into.
Now you cannot be denying my UP rep in there, who is also a medical professional. She actually is.
She
has to have an input.
I see.
Yes. You cannot be bringing everywhere these people here come and talk.
No, don't worry. So I'll do that.
Solo. She's a lady.
Yeah, we'll give it up.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you very much. This case is very critical, and looking at the way Mr. Emisa died, I don't know, because for this person to be moving from 1, 2, 3 hospitals, and in all these hospitals we are told there is no bed. I think it is very problematic, because when the discussion was going on, there was one question that was running through my mind. Is it that there was something that was happening that none of the doctors wanted to touch?
Yeah.
Because if 1, 2, and looking at these hospitals, I mean, the police hospital to Rich to Kolebu, it shouldn't be a case that what happened couldn't be solved. So I think there should be some kind of a critical look. Maybe they are just pushing the matter to, I mean, there was no bed, but maybe there might be something that, none of the medical practitioners wanted to touch on, because it's
Doc, does that happen? That maybe because you are suspicious that, excuse me, maybe, I'm sorry, maybe you feel that the individual cannot be resuscitated early, or I mean the damage is too much. You intentionally, as doctors, do not want to touch the person.
There is no case a doctor would say, I wouldn't touch. I mean, you would, even with terminal conditions that prognosis is almost zero. You still touch that's the time you need to even show compassion.
Even when you suspect, maybe.
Even when you know. Your conditions come and we know. Unfortunately, for my final year medical school exam, I had a young lady, about 34, 35 years, with terminal breast cancer. And I knew only God could intervene at the time. So after the consultants came in and asked me to read my findings and started bombarding me with the questions, they didn't ask me treatment. The professor was like, okay, provided you were the husband,
what would you have done?
What would you do for the patient? And that was not a medical question. That was a social question. It was because we knew at the time it was terminal. But we did everything we could for that patient. So irrespective of whatever the problem or could have triggered the issue, you still have to give your best to the patient.
And another curious. It's even likely, I didn't see that in the report, that the doctors in question themselves had not even seen eyeball to eyeball the patients, because these are communication issues. They may not even have gone to the ambulance to look at it.
I think it was a clear case of negligence, like we said.
On the part of who, really?
On the hospital, at the early stage, because he said maybe there was something, there was nothing. We take things for granted very often. But the thing is that at the hospital, you don't only nurse people for them to leave. You understand? Sometimes it is your job to give people dignified death. You understand? Dignified death. It's also part of the core mandate. Exactly. You understand? Unfortunately, in our part of the world, we don't do euthanasia here. But
your point addressed then. This is what I want to do. Because of time, let's move into the next story, because that's also generating quite some interest.
UP medical person.
Oh, Solo.
No, she has to speak. Yes,
I'm sorry,
but you cannot give opportunity to end this here.
Okay, let's do that.
At least you have only one lady
the
in there.
microphone to the
Solo's interest has to be said.
From the United Party.
You're with the United Party, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
My name is Edna.
No, you're not you.
For me, I think it's a misplacement of people in our institutions because, clear negligence. And saving lives shouldn't base on the hospital. People are saving lives in the airports, train stations, and whatnot. So for me, I think it's holistic, and we have to see it as a country and stop the politicians fixing people in our institutions. For me, that's what I think. It's sheer negligence.
Connection.
And also, we have to
let me move.
Okay, you have to move.
No, so let's talk.
Okay, yeah. Solo.
The United Party.
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that we must concentrate on the pre-hospital care.
Yeah.
If we had a very buoyant, strong pre-hospital care, like quality ambulance with the right expertise, this shouldn't be a matter. Right. It's very, very important. That is why when we give money to people to go and buy as ambulances, they must not go and buy as fake ones and inflate the prices. Very important.
And the maintenance will be higher than...
Maintenance will be higher than...
All right, guys. Okay, that's another controversy, which just brings us to